I bombed particularly badly. Star of John Bishop to inspired film Is This Thing On? Recalls scary stand-up show, the latest movie from Bradley Cooper to Is This Thing On? To is inspired by Liverpool star John Bishop's journey into comedy. John Bishop was going through a divorce from his wife Melanie. It was October 2000 and he had moved out of his family home and would see his children on the weekend. After saying goodbye to his family for another week, the then 34-year-old salesman wandered into the Frog and Bucket Comedy Club in Manchester, and to avoid paying the £4 entry fee, signed up for the open mic night that was taking place. Only a handful of people were in the room. His name was called to go on stage, and from there John Bishop began his career in comedy. I found this thing that I just loved, but I was never sure it would be a job ever, he tells Sky News. It took a number of years for me to build up to it, and I was 40 when I left my job, so it was a completely different stage than what you see in the film. What you see in the film is someone who all of a sudden finds something that they never knew would be the right thing for them. The Scouse stand-up comic adds, I wasn't nervous when I handed in my notice because I knew I could do it. You know, the big thing with stand-up comedy is it's a meritocracy. You know if you're good because you make more people laugh in the room than the other acts on the bill. And because it's the support of the community, which again is something you see in the film, they'll push you on if you're good, people will let you know. By the time I was ready to leave my job, it was either stay as someone who's a decent comedian or try and make the leap and see what happens. It was that story he recounted to actor Will Arnett when they met by chance on a barge in Amsterdam. Joined by Mark Chappell, the three began creating what would become the new film Is This Thing On? Directed by Bradley Cooper. Bishop was involved in the early stages of the script but took a step back to allow Arnett and Chappell make it their own. The story, now set in America, follows Alex Novick, a finance professional who stumbles into the New York comedy scene. It wasn't even crickets, it was silence. Reflecting the early stages of a comedian's journey means Arnett had to purposely create jokes that wouldn't land to and perform them to real crowds. It was important to us that he doesn't come out and be the Michael Jordan of comedy the first time, Arnett explains. There was a night that I bombed particularly badly, and what was so glaring was the contrast because I'd done the same material 5 minutes before and it had gone really well. Arnett adds, it wasn't even crickets, it was silence. At first that was really daunting and very scary, and at the same time there's something kind of magical about bombing that much because it's so quiet and you have to stay up there and do it. And it's also perversely funny to you as well. You're like, wow, this is really not working. The film isn't just about finding your correct path in life, but also taking the active decision to choose what is right for you. Its main characters, Alex and Tess, played by Arnett and co-star Laura Dern, are shown going through the ordeal of a divorce. Read more from Sky News. Prince Harry's court case. What's happened so far? Oscar nominations 2026. The full list. There's no pinpoint reason behind their separation, but instead the film explores their journey in finding their own passions in life. The separation sparks Tess's own identity search as a woman who had dedicated her life to a sport she no longer plays. Dern says the film served as a reminder to make a conscious decision to choose happiness. Every day we have to reignite our passion, she says. The luxury of having lives whether it's being in partnership or parenting. If we're lucky enough to have a job we actually love, even still life happens to us and you have to work to reignite your joy. Is This Thing On? Is in cinemas now.